Hey guys, it's Jenny Wallach with the Wallach Group Keller Williams Realty Advantage in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this guy doesn't really need any introduction. However, I will welcome Seth Campbell to join me today. Seth is going to share so many agent success secrets with us, and mainly on the topic of hiring talent, finding talent, keeping talent, all that stuff. Thank you,
Fun
Seth.
stuff. Thank you, Jenny. I'm excited to be here. Always love having any time I can get with you. So I'm excited to talk about this fun topic of people. If it weren't for the humans, this business would be easy.
Yeah, it really would. We are in a relationship business, and when we don't have relationships, then we have no business. Seth, I'm going to let you do a lot of the talking. I'd love for you to introduce yourself, how you got into this crazy fun business that we're in, all the different roles you've had over the years, and where you're growing now from here.
Sure. Okay. Got my real estate license about 10 years ago now. Was in McDonald's as a regional person before that. This is my first job after school. Jumped in real estate, came straight to Keller Williams Realty in Massachusetts, built up a team over there. Got that team to doing about 200 transactions a year. Got it up to the 7th level. And then by then I was in Gary Keller's mastermind group of the top 100 back then of agents in the country, got a relationship with him. Ended up being in front of, at the time, our CEO, Mark Willis, back then. And he put me through the recruit select process, which is our old hiring process, and recognized me with leadership talent. And then, kind of fast forward, became a regional director for Keller Williams Realty for the Maryland, D.C. region. I moved my family to Maryland, where I live now still. Led this region in Maryland, D.C. for about 6 years. Really great times doing that. We, tripled the size of the region, broke every record in the book for our area. Even our volume, what impressed me, our volumes, we took our volume from 1.7 billion to 7.8 billion in 5.5 years. Really, really good people, amazing people, big honor to be a part of that team and to lead them. And then transitioned over to Kimber Mankiti, who's an incredible leader. Excited to be in business with her. And then during that time, KW, we wear multiple hats sometimes. During that time, became master faculty instructor for Keller Williams University. I opened 2 market centers, one of them more recent, that's new. The other one I opened about 4 years ago in Pikesville, Maryland, which became one of the fastest growing KWs in history. We went from 0 to 400 agents in 36 months. It's been the top 5 and even number 1 in the world in growth for a lot with Mr. Vlad Katz, who a lot of people know him, under his leadership, and now Tina Belvo. So that's just dominates number 30 something in profit in the country now. It's not even 5 years old. And then also during that time on the side started this little experiment called 5 Doors, in expansion. So we started that 4 years ago through, that was a 7th level business in the sense of putting other people in charge and leading through them. It's a lot of our topic, right? And because I was full-time regional director, right? That was my focus. And we set this side expansion business, started from 0, got together a group of partners from Gary's group. So Reed Moore, Jeff Payne, Devin Doherty. And we didn't use any of our original teams. We just started a new company on the side at 0. And based in Baltimore, and then just started expanding out of that. And first year we did 350,000 GCI. It was not anything huge. Then we did 2.1 million. Then we did 4.6 million. And then last year was our 4th year. We broke 10 million in GCI, and it's really growing fast. A lot of failure, a lot of pain, lost a lot of money inside of there. Company's solid profit now, yet a lot of dead bodies and blood along the way on that path, and certainly a lot of lessons. I think right now we're about 200 people total inside the organization, 16 locations, which we trimmed back because we actually had, I think we got up to 20 locations or so. We've shut some down. So just a lot of failure and learning lessons inside of that.
Well, thank you for leading the way on that, because expansion is an amazing opportunity for a lot of us, and we've taken classes, and you guys are kind of doing it really big, and we get to learn your failures along the way. Thanks.
My pleasure. Yeah. Some nights are very, very rough.
Well, let's dive into what is really important, what we're going to talk on today, and that's going to be hiring, finding talent, really, and then keeping them. I posed that question and I didn't get lots of feedback. I think it's because everybody just is in all of it all the time. I mean, it's all a struggle, right? Um, so first, I would love to plug that we are in May right now, and on June 13th through the 15th, you are coming to the amazing destination of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and
Yeah,
you're
I'm
going to
excited.
teach. Yeah, you're going to teach not only career visioning, which is the first step, then the 30, 60, 90, which I need lots of help on, and then the success through others, which you would not be where you are today without all of those.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's so smart you say that. And by the way, like I'm so excited. We've been working for like 2 years or 3 years for me to get to Oklahoma. I actually was scheduled to go there and like
We had weather or something.
the hurricane, or not hurricanes, the tornadoes.
Tornado, yeah.
Tornadoes, like literally I was on my way to the airport and they're like, everything shut down, tornadoes, I'm sorry. And then so I'm real excited to even be able to get there finally and teach. There better be no tornadoes. And yeah, and it's the full leverage series, right? And a lot of people have taken just career visioning or keep taking that, which is important. And yeah, you nailed it. It's the whole piece that connects together. That's why I'm so excited that your region is bringing all 3 days. I mean, we're going to go 3 days in a row, which can be exhausting for me, yet it's so much fun because it all connects together. It's like you can get the right people, then you could blow 30, 60, 90, and you'll be back to the right people. You can get the right people, you can nail 30, 60, 90. 5 years later,
Right.
you've got this incredibly talented person, like I have a couple of those in my life, and then you still lose them because you don't create new opportunities for them or you've hit your lid. There's so many nuances to that. It really is a lifelong journey. And like I always say, I'm qualified to teach that because like I've messed it up more than anybody I know. I'm far from mastery of this whole, finding talent, keeping talent, yet I'm committed to the path. And I've made so many mistakes. I've learned so much inside of that. It's fun for me to teach because it reminds me, right? Teaching is the final step to mastery. Gary teaches that. And I learn more from the room. I think they learn from me. And I could just give real stories, right? From an OP's perspective, from a region's perspective, from an agent's perspective, from a team's perspective, all of those things. Because
Yeah, well, I traveled to Orlando for the first launch, and you taught this class. That was a great class. It was the first time it was, I think, presented.
Yeah, in the country. That's right. Yeah.
And I think I've had it 3 times since then. So yeah, I'm going to keep learning and growing through it. So I remember a story that you told. You were so good. I love this class. By the way, you did a great job. And just about the whole, what an empire builder really is. I mean, and taking territory and what that means. Kind of touch on that real quick.
Yeah, well, that was one of the first lessons we cover, right, in career vision, because we this empire builder is a word that we threw out a lot. And you and I are in a lot of the same Facebook groups. And for years, it'd be like this rhetoric of like, hey, I got an empire builder. Or look at this behavior profile. Like, they're an empire builder. And it's like, no. Like, an empire builder is not a behavior profile. It's not a potential talent. It is somebody who has taken territory. Like, they've done it. So, like, anytime somebody's talking about an empire builder, like, okay, show me. Like, show me the territory they've taken. And I think that holds us to a much higher bar, right? And the idea of like some of the people that we're in business with might be amazing and talented, yet they're early. They haven't done it yet. And success through others hits that so well. So does career visioning. This idea of like, calm down. Yes, maybe they're a talented individual, yet empire builder is it's a different level. And it's super rare. Like you don't have an empire, but it's not like you can go to the store and pick up a couple of empire builders. That's not going to happen. Right.
Well,
people have actually taken territory.
Yeah. And we get really, really excited because we found somebody that checks all the boxes. Yep. Or, in the old days, they had the right numbers and we're super excited and they have a heartbeat and they're kind of nice and smart. And we're like, this is it. I found it.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's it. And there's no perfect hiring process, right? I think career vision, I always think of hiring as like a probability game. And career visioning does a great job. So purposeful. It just improves your odds like tremendously, probably doubles your odds of making a good hire because there's so many unknowns, right? It's humans. So yeah, somebody can be wired for those roles behaviorally, but do they have a skill set? Like, so I could be wired to be the world's greatest accountant, but if I don't have any training on how to actually do accounting, like that's a skill, then I may not be able to do high level accounting, right? So it's this idea that there's skill. And then what if I did have skill, but I don't like it? I have no passion. right? How do you measure that, right? And then what if I have skill, passion, behavior, but I lie, cheat, and steal, right? On no morals or ethics. Like there's so many ingredients. Or what if I have all that and then something goes on in my personal life and I totally, hit the wall, right? I mean, there's just so many ingredients, which is why, like, imagine not being purposeful about all that. Like your chances for success are so small inside of that.
Well, speaking of, let's just slow down and start over. So I wrote down this just now. This helps us slow down, and it's a process. So why don't we just start at the beginning? Career visioning, 30, 60, 90, and success through others. How would you give a little synopsis of each little piece?
Yeah, well, career visioning is really, what is that?
It's just so much.
Yeah, it is a lot. So career visioning, best way to think about career visioning is what we do so brilliantly in that class is we start first on your vision, right? Because too many of us, particularly in this industry, we just start going and start selling houses. And then we start like, I need some help. We bring in people and we start to build something. I know I did that. I got up to like 14 people at one point in Massachusetts. And I was like, I don't have a vision other than sell more houses. And then I'm losing talent, or I couldn't attract the next level of talent. So it kind of pauses you at first and is like, let's talk about your vision. Like how big of a world you want to build and how you use that vision to be more attractive to higher level talent that essentially could work anywhere, but they may choose you because of your vision. And so first we help you format this vision and really interrupt some of the thinking that a lot of us have inside of not having a vision or having one that could be too small or one that's self-serving even. And then it's like, okay, now that you have that, is what's the process you go through to really decide if this person is a good match for your vision and for that role. And we got behavior profiling with the KPA. We've got really, really targeted questions like ask this, not this, listen this way, not this way. We get into some real deep stuff on their track record. We get into some future self stuff, motivation, like what's their underlying motivation, right? We all have different buttons inside of us that motivate us. Like yours could be security, mine could be adventure. Like, how do you actually find those inside of people? And then does that match the role? Like, will they get that sensation inside of that role? And then how do we have really great expectations dialogue, right? Because anytime somebody's let down, it's usually a mismatched expectation. How to be so purposeful in that whole process. That's career visioning. Then 30, 60, 90 is like, okay, now that it all looked good on paper, but how do you know? It's almost like the interview still continues for the first 30 days and then 60 days and 90 days. That's why it's like red light, green light. Red light, green light at the end of 30 days, red light, green light at the end of 60 and 90 on like, is the person performing and doing the big rocks of the role, the 20%, the most important piece of the role? Like, can they get to a level of mastery on the things that matter the most? And I got to see that fast because maybe it's not a match. And then I need to exit with class really fast and then go find the right person because the cost of that hire just like ticks up in the background. It gets real, real expensive. And I got to say, like, just real quick on that, I don't know if you've taken that or not yet. I think that's one of the most powerful classes we have. It's one of my favorite classes to teach, and it's been an absolute game changer in my world, in our world. Like we got the advanced teaching on it to be certified to be instructors, and I immediately went back and started implementing it inside of Five Doors and Market Center, and it's been an amazing game changer for us. I mean, it's just so huge.
And a question on that. When you are building a 30, 60, 90 for that candidate, for that role, I think a lot of people get bogged down in because they try and go way deep and detailed on, I heard you chime in one time and said, this should be a one-pager.
Yes. Yeah. One page. Some people go a little bit over one page, but that's pushing it. It's one page.
So how defined is in your first 30 days, potential team member, here are your goals and how are
I love that. So like from a big picture standpoint, I mean, that's it. Cause we used to have these 100-day books, right? And like, I had like little mini novels and like, you got to do all these tasks in 30 and 60 and 90, 100 days. Right. And there was a lot of teaching in there and training. And what I found, I don't know about you, but if we gave people, like I'd give people like 20 different things to accomplish in the first 30 days, and they might do 16 of them and not do 4. And I'm like, well, that's pretty good. The problem is the 4 were like taking a listing or reading something like the one of the critical ones and regeneration. It's like, well, but they did like 80 or 90% of this. Like, so you got to keep going. And then 6 months later, they got a person that doesn't lead generate or doesn't take listings, right? Or work a buyer. So 36 cut all that out. And essentially what you do is you think like, what's the big rocks of a role? So if we're, if it's a buyer's agent, like what are some of the big rocks of a role? Or executive assistant, that's one people struggle with. So for me, an executive assistant, the big rocks are going to be, they generate a certain amount of referrals from my database through their marketing touches, right? If you're in charge of my 36 touch, then we can do the math from Millionaire Real Estate Agent, like how many referrals I should get. We can go backwards and run that math, right? So that'd be number one. Number two would be like my contracts to close, has this kind of closing, efficiency or whatever. Or number two, another one, the third one or the second one, or maybe the first one would be my customer satisfaction rating. Maybe there's a promise score of the number of referrals we get, which, I've seen you talk about before. Maybe there's a survey, some kind of customer satisfaction rating, right? So let's say those are the big three. And you kind of stop there. You should have 3 to 5 big rocks. That's it. And there's a whole bunch of other things that person needs to do, like answer the phone, do the emails, set up parties, whatever. You don't worry about that for the first 90 days, because if they can't manage your database and generate referrals, it doesn't matter how good they are at answering email. It just doesn't matter. You need to know you need to have the first question answered first. So then right in 30 days, it is, like you've generated this many referrals from an effective touch, and it's a number. And it's like, you did it or you didn't do it, right? You did it or you didn't do it. The customer satisfaction score is this number, or the response rate in the first 30 days is this number. And then in 60 days, the actual result is this number, right? So if I'm a buyer's agent, maybe it's number of houses I've shown or number of people, buyer agreements I've run, or exclusive buyer agreements. And then by 60 days, I'm looking for something to go into contract. 90 days, I'm looking, right? But real numbers, not you watch this video, you mastered your script, and that's just extra. That's so that you can hit the number. That's a training plan. But the 3690 is all about real milestones. Did the person do it? Like a real good example is, because I always kind of had that in my heart. Like one of the things I was troubled with inside of our old system was like there was so much stuff, and my brain naturally works like, well, what's most important here? I actually just need to see that. So I remember Vlad, before he had 3690, I kind of ran his first 100 days that same way. And it was all about recruiting. So he's the team leader when Marcus and Rise building the market plan. Yeah. And I remember him coming to me on like, I don't know, day 60 or something. He's like, dude, like we need an ALC, like we need an ALC meeting. And that's real important, right? It is. It's like part of like the agreement to operate a Keller Williams franchise. And I'm like, he's like, when are you going to teach me how to lead an ALC meeting? I'm like, dude, if you can't recruit, it ain't gonna be your ALC to lead. So just show me you can recruit first, and then we'll talk about the ALC later. So that's just kind of the mindset behind 30-60-90 is show this first, and then we can talk about the rest of the role. And it's so clean and so structured and so evidential. So you don't have to get into these emotional conversations around like, is it working? Is it not working? Because we tend to second guess ourselves inside of that. And it's just, it's so clean. And that's been a game changer for us, is making that as clean as possible, as crisp as possible, with standards and numbers. And like, you hit it or you don't hit it. It's red light, green light, no yellow light.
Now, who is the one talking with and being with this new person early on?
It's whoever their leader is, like whoever they directly report to. That's who does it. That's who takes them through provisioning. That's who takes them through 30-60-90.
In a small team, I believe that should probably be the leader of the team.
Yeah, it's you. That's not something you really want to delegate out. Yeah.
I mean, at your level, you do work through others at your level. And for me, it's still just me. And that's, I think, something I heard at the last Ashley Lund taught, the one that I went to recently. And she pointed out that like block your calendar. That first week, you need to show up and be there available for them.
Oh yeah. And
I don't think that everybody gets that part.
It's crazy. Like I have people tell me that I'm too busy. I'm like, I own 9 companies, and when somebody directly reports to me, like I do that because you know why? Is mathematically, it's not even an emotional statement. Mathematically, I can prove it. Emotionally, I can prove it. People are your greatest investment. In other words, like you and I, Jenny, we can go buy an investment property. We're going to get a good return if we buy a great property. We're not going to go find a property that probably gives us like a 2001 return. But we can hire the right person who can give us a 2001 return. So people are the greatest financial investment you can make with the biggest ROI, the greatest emotional investment, because they also send back time. You hire the right person, they send you cash and send you minutes. And like who doesn't want more of both of those, right? So if you need to invest hard in the first week and a little bit more of it, like in the first 90 days, anybody that reports directly to me, I have a phone call every single day with them. There is a daily check in 90 straight days. And I'll do that from an airport somewhere at the end of a class, like, you know, at the end, I have one going on right now. So while it's probably still going to happen while I'm in Tulsa, so you'll see me like after the class, after a mastermind, after dinner, maybe like with the region, like I'm going to be on the phone with somebody talking about their daily check-in because I'm that committed to that individual being successful or maybe exiting early because don't you want to course correct some of the bad habits that could be forming or bad thinking, ineffective thing that could be forming early.
So tell me real quick what that phone call sounds like on a quick check-in.
So at the beginning, like in the first 30 days, a lot of it is like, okay, where are you at on the milestones? Like, what'd you work on today? What's your focus? What'd you learn? As they start to steer the ship, say they make it to day 65, 70, they are kind of controlling the ship. You know, they're a little bit in control. There's a graph on that. Yeah. It's more of a check-in on like, hey, like, tell me about your day. Tell me what you ran into. Tell me your struggles. And what's most critical for me to listen to inside of like, what do you feel good about today? What was a struggle? Where are you at on the map and the plan? How do those conversations go with those other people that you're leading? Because, you know, I'm leading leaders of leaders, and I want to hear how their conversations go with others or conflict with others. And I'm really listening to how they think. Because at that point, for me, it's not about the water bottle. It's about how you look at the water bottle. And I want to know that because if we're in alignment on how you look at that and how you think about that, then the story, the names, the faces will change on us over time. But your thinking is what's most critical for us to move forward in our goals.
Wow, that's powerful. How do you then, if it's not a fit, how do you gracefully exit?
I just text them like, you're fired, get out. And get the heck out. No? Is that not what you know?
I mean, for some.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a direct. I'm a fan of like just direct conversation, and we have a rule, cultural rule inside of our companies to run to the conversation, and if it's an uncomfortable conversation, that's when you need to get to faster. So it becomes very evidential, and when you set up the work the right way, if I have on your 30, 60, 90 has a great buyer presentation. You and I could get an argument whether or not it was great. It could be a very emotional conversation. If I put on there, delivers buyer presentation to 10 buyers and 8 of them sign exclusive buyer agreement, that's how I'd measure great, then we're not going to argue whether number is 9 or 8 or 7. Like it's the number. So I do the work up front so that I enter that awkward conversation as an evidential conversation, not an emotional conversation. And then it goes into like, here's the number, you didn't hit that, talk to me about that. I want to hear their thinking. And if their thinking is good and in alignment, then we're going to extend the runway a little bit. And maybe I can get in and coach consult them on how to have a breakthrough. If it's victim or this or that, or it was a stupid goal and, any of that, like that's a mismatch on thinking, then it's like, you're the right person. This is the wrong job. And I'm like, I get that. I understand that. I appreciate you. And clearly this is not the best role for you. And let's exit. And then it's an exit with class.
Yeah.
Just like that. I think we're clear. And that it could be harsh and some people struggle with that. But even if you get back to the investment concept, if you and I were flipping a house and we were tanking and it was losing money, at some point we'd be wise to say, like, let's cut our losses and let's go channel the rest of our money into something that could have a return. It's the very same with people.
Yeah. And if you feel like it's not working, then they're feeling that way anyway.
Yeah, right. If you keep telling me the number is 8 and I keep coming with 5, that doesn't feel good for me either.
Right.
You'd be giving me relief, and I've been avoiding the conversation. Right.
Well, let's talk real quick about the KPA. I don't know that everyone is trained up in the verifying of it. However, it's really easy now. You just read through it and you follow the rules. I've heard that some people will send out a KPA to some candidates and then and they don't feel like it's a match. So they never call them back.
That's interesting. Yeah. You don't want to do that. Yeah. It's kind of funny because we say like, hey, this is a behavior profile. There's no right or wrong. Just be the real you. Like there's no right or wrong. Just be you. And then all of a sudden we're like, never mind. We don't call people back. It's like, maybe there was right or wrong and, or God made you wrong. So I'm sorry, that's a weird message we could be sending people. So I think you got to be super careful with that. Now you could listen, if you get one back, number one, you don't know that it's accurate yet. You need to sit down with them and verify it, because I've had a number of times where I got one back. I'm like, oh man, this isn't going to work out. And I stayed in curiosity, and then like, oh, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. No, that's not me. And I paused, like, tell me about the conditions when you took it. I had one where they're like, my wife was over my shoulder saying like, that's not you. That's not you. And I was changing my answers because I thought it was right. She must know me better than I know myself. And it was like two different people inside the same KPA, and it was all messed up. Right. I did it at 2 a.m. I was half asleep, and so
it's our job to set them up to succeed.
Yeah. You got to like take it with no dogs, no spouses, no kids, no nothing in the morning when you have energy, and just be the real you. And then even if you're sure that you're not going to continue, say you get into you can just do a faster one. You don't have to go as deep on all the questions. You can go as faster, because I think it's a gift for people, right? To understand themselves a little bit. You're probably having a conversation with them that nobody else has ever had. They're learning more about themselves than anybody else. So I always think that that's a gift. And if we're a steward of opportunity, then we've got to give that gift to people and honor it, because A, that could be a referral source. Whoever sent them to you could be a referral source. B, like maybe they're a match for something else. C, maybe they're a match for me or somebody else that's looking for talent, and you can pass them on, right? Or you give them a gift, they learn more about themselves, and they come at peace with that, and they can go and have a really great life.
Yeah, I love it. You're still giving. You're still coming from contribution with those. So let's dive into success with others. Now, I'm just going to say that for me, it's just like it's like the Red Book. It's like everything where you focus so much on the beginning, and your brain can't even imagine the give a million yet, because I'm not even there yet. So I feel like that's kind of what success with others could be for some. Like they can't even get to find the right people to imagine life beyond it.
Yeah, it's true. And it's why it's like the, 1/4 of the last day. It's actually the smallest part that we cover, because it just doesn't apply to everybody. And I think people disappeared too. I always have less people still there for that one. And here's the deal. The funny part is why I say it's so great that your region is putting them all together at the same time. It actually ties back to the very beginning, is when you start with that killer big vision, then you inherently know that success through others is coming. Like it's coming. If you're committed to this vision up front that is so big and so killer and so clear, and you're committed to that, and you start to put the right people in your life, it's them that make your vision happen. It's not you that makes it happen. Then you know that success through others is coming, so you can get prepared for it now. And success through others is so much about like, hey, what happens when I have this person, we're 3 years into the future, and they're knocking out of the park, and they're a great wealth-determined for me, and now I'm becoming wealth-determined for them in a big way. And like, we want to do more together. Like he's a real partner type of person. I want to go create opportunity. Maybe they go run a division, maybe they go open expansion locations for you. Maybe it's whatever. You invest homes with them. It could be anything. And we teach you fundamentals on like, here's what your option. A lot of times people have a really talented person. I've run into that when I teach a class. There's usually a couple of people in the room. I got this really talented person, but I don't know what to do because there's no job yet. And then we give them a list of other options. Maybe you can do this, maybe you can do this. And like, I didn't even thought of that. Like I could go buy an investment property with them. I could start to help them build wealth, right? So there's a lot of options. We teach you how to do it, how to have the conversation, how to structure it, step by step through that. It's really powerful stuff.
Well, I love that. What would you say today to everyone watching would be just some words of advice or things you have learned along the way?
I think some of the most critical lessons I've learned, the first one that comes to mind, so maybe 2 or 3 that come to mind. The first one that comes to mind is this idea of how we look at hiring. And I talk about this class sometimes, is this idea that I used to look at hiring as like, when I need people, then I need to go hire. So let me pull the book out and figure out how to do the interviewing. And my analogy is always like when I talk to people that lost a whole bunch of weight, right? And then those people that lost a whole bunch of weight and kept it off. Right. I like to study success. They always have this one sentence. They all say the same thing. It's wild. And to watch for patterns, like, it stopped being a diet. It was a lifestyle change. I always hear this lifestyle change, right? It was when it was a lifestyle change, it stuck. So I'm like, that's what I've been doing about hiring. Is I've been treating it like a diet. Like, I need to lose weight, so let me go on a diet. I need more people. Let me go learn this hiring thing, and let me go do it, and then turn it off. And that is so fundamental to being on the hamster wheel. And you will just stay on the hamster wheel in real estate and never really break through until it becomes a real lifestyle change. every person I run into, and that's somebody that could be a buyer of real estate, a seller of real estate, investor of real estate, somebody from a downline in KW, or somebody to bring into my empire and work together. Every human being is one of those 5 things. And if it's always on, it's like when you talk to somebody that eats clean all the time, it's a true lifestyle. It's like, oh, tell me about how you eat clean. And they're like, I don't know, this is what I eat. Like, not a plan. It's just like what I do. That's what you got to get hired into. It's like just what I do. And when you can get there, you start to realize, like, because nobody succeeds alone. If your goals are big enough, then it has to be a lifestyle. And by the way, it has to be a lifestyle ongoing. Like the other point is, even in 5 doors, like we ran into it, we hit on the wall. Like just think last year, we added 6 million in GCI in 1 year. Like if you just do a million GCI, that's big. If you add 1 million, that's huge. We added 6 million in GCI in 1 year. So just think about what that does to talent. I could have the most talented people in the business, skill-wise and otherwise. And when you add that kind of growth on, and yours may not be 6 million, it could be anything, but it's a big growth all at once on a number of people. Their skill set may not be there. Their talent, you know what I mean? So it's almost like just because you have incredible talent now, why would you stop? You're betting on slow growth, because if you have really big growth, which real talent will cause that. So you have really talented people that cause incredible growth to the point where they're now behind. So you can never stop. You can never stop developing, never stop hiring talent. And you got to hire people that self-develop so fast that they don't fall behind the organization. So it's an always on.
All right. So I know a whole nother topic we could go into, and we don't have time today, would be how in the heck do you find the talent? So I guess we'll just have to encourage everyone to go to your class.
Yes, we'll talk about that there, 100%.
You are so amazing for sharing all your valuable time with me. I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. I appreciate you. I love talking to you.
I would love to keep going. I would like for our viewers to, watch all the way through. So I'll cut us off now. Seth, tell everyone real quick how they can share referrals with you or get in contact with you for any reason at all.
Shoot, I didn't know you'd ask me that. I should know that right away. Just shoot me a message on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way. My email is seth@sethcampbell.com. That's also easy. Go straight to me. That's the only way I'll remember it. So
awesome. Well, thank you. Have an amazing day. If you guys need anything from me, my number is 918-706-9845. Have a great one. Bye. Bye.
Bye.